Have you ever wondered what it feels like to risk your life for education? Today we dive into the life of a remarkable young woman who did just that, Malala Yousafzai. Born on July 12, 1997 in Mingora, a small town in the Swat district of northwestern Pakistan, Malala's early life was shaped by an environment of love for education, instilled by her father, a passionate education advocate. But as Malala grew, so too did the ominous shadow of the Taliban. Their influence seeped into her hometown, bringing with them an ideology that vehemently opposed girls' education. For Malala, a young girl brimming with dreams and aspirations, this was a terrifying reality to grapple with, but she was far from cowed, far from silenced. Subscribe to our channel to follow Malala's incredible journey, a testament to the unyielding spirit of a girl who dared to question the unthinkable. How does a young girl stand up against the might of the Taliban? This is not a rhetorical question, but the reality of Malala Yousafzai's life. At an age when most girls around the world were worrying about school assignments and weekend plans, Malala was living under the oppressive regime of the Taliban in Swat Valley, Pakistan. The fundamentalist group, notorious for its brutal treatment of women and disdain for their education, had taken over her hometown. But instead of succumbing to fear, Malala chose to fight back in the most powerful way she knew how, with her words. Under the pseudonym Gul Makai, meaning cornflower in Urdu, she began to document her life under the Taliban rule through an anonymous blog for BBC Urdu. She wrote about her longing for normalcy, for the freedom to go to school without fear. She spoke of her dreams, her ambitions, and her unwavering belief in the importance of education. Her words painted a vivid picture of life in Swat Valley, a reality far removed from the world many of us know. Her blog posts started to gain attention, not just in Pakistan, but across the world. Her voice, though young, was powerful, and it began to resonate with millions. But with this attention came threats. The Taliban, notorious for their intolerance toward dissent, were not pleased. As her blog grew in popularity, her identity could no longer remain a secret. The world now knew Gul Makai as Malala, a brave young girl standing up against an oppressive regime. The threats against her life became more frequent, more intense. Yet, Malala remained undeterred. She continued to advocate for girls' education, refusing to be silenced. She showed the world that bravery is not the absence of fear, but the strength to keep going despite it. Despite the threats, Malala never backed down. Her courage continues to inspire millions around the world, reminding us that one voice, no matter how young, can make a difference. It reminds us of the power of words and the strength of the human spirit to rise above fear and stand up for what is right. What happens when a bullet tries to silence a voice of freedom? On a fateful day in October 2012, an unthinkable event took place. A 15-year-old girl boarded her school bus in the Swat Valley of Pakistan, a place where the simple act of attending school had become a defiance against the oppressive forces seeking to silence education for girls. This girl was Malala Yousafzai, a brave advocate for girls' education who had been vocal about her cause, despite the looming threats around her. Unbeknownst to her, an assassin had boarded the bus too. In a horrific act of violence, he fired a bullet that struck Malala, an attempt to extinguish the light of her advocacy, but fate had other plans. The bullet hit, but it did not silence. Malala was critically injured, but she clung to life, fighting through her injuries with a resilience that was nothing short of miraculous. She was transported to a hospital in Birmingham, England, where she underwent multiple surgeries and months of rehabilitation. But physical wounds were not the only aftermath of this brutal attack. The world was watching, and the outcry was deafening. The assassination attempt on Malala's life had the opposite effect of its intended purpose. It didn't silence her. Instead, it amplified her voice, resonating it across the globe. The world rallied around Malala, and her cause gained unprecedented momentum. Her story of survival fueled her determination, her resolve hardened, and her mission became even clearer. She had been targeted for advocating for girls' education, and she chose to use her survival as a platform to intensify her campaign. The world listened, and the support for her cause grew exponentially. The attack on Malala was intended to instill fear and silence her voice, but it achieved the exact opposite. It stirred a global movement, galvanized support for girls' education, and made Malala a global icon of resistance and courage. The bullet failed to silence her. Instead, it amplified her voice globally. Can a young girl change the world? Our journey through Malala Yousafzai's life brings us to a resounding yes. Emerging from the shadow of her attack, Malala's remarkable recovery was only the beginning of her new chapter. She didn't allow the trauma to define her. Instead, she used it to fuel her unwavering commitment to girls' education. Her resilience and courage became an emblem of the triumph of the human spirit. In 2013, Malala and her father co-founded the Malala Fund, a nonprofit organization dedicated to giving every girl an opportunity to achieve a future she chooses. Through it, they aim to break the barriers preventing more than 130 million girls around the world from going to school. But the world wasn't just watching, it was listening too. The following year, at just 17, Malala became the youngest ever Nobel laureate, receiving the Nobel Peace Prize for her struggle against the suppression of children and young people and for the right of all children to education. A feat not just for Malala, but for every girl whose voice was silenced. Yet, her work was far from over. Today, she continues her fight for girls' education, advocating for 12 years of free, safe, and quality education for every girl. She travels the globe, fearlessly standing up to leaders and demanding they invest in girls' futures. She amplifies the voices of girls fighting for change in their communities. She takes the dreams of millions of girls and turns them into a rallying cry. Malala's journey is a testament to the power of resilience, of hope, and of belief. It's a testament to the change one young girl can spark when she refuses to be silenced. It's a testament to the triumph of the human spirit over despair. Malala's story is a testament to the power of one girl's voice to inspire change in the world. What can we learn from Malala's life and achievements? One can't help but marvel at the profound courage and resilience of a young girl from Swat Valley, who, in the face of adversity, never wavered from her commitment to education. Malala's story is a testament to the power of one's voice, even in the face of the harshest opposition. Her journey reminds us that age, gender, or circumstances do not define our capacity to make a difference. It's about the strength of our convictions and our willingness to stand up for what we believe in, no matter the cost. It's about the impact we can make when we refuse to be silenced. So let's take a moment to reflect. How committed are we to making a difference in our communities? Are we willing to stand up, raise our voice, and bring about the change we wish to see? Malala's journey teaches us that no act is too small to create a ripple of change. What will be your contribution?